This is Lagers and Loudmouths, Conversations Unfiltered.
Welcome, thinkers and drinkers. We are on to episode 18. We've got a fun one for you. This is a first for us today. We are running 4 deep on Lagers and Loudmouths, and we don't mean that in any sexual way, so control yourselves. But we've got a fun one here today. But before we get into that and introduce our 2 guests, Tyler, why don't you tell us what we are drinking?
Yeah, so we are drinking Citra Ass Down by Against the Grain Brewery. This beer, and this is they got a paragraph on their Untappd.
Read it.
Yeah. So 8.2% ABV. It's a double IPA, 68 IBU, 3.89 on Untappd, which is pretty solid. They say they're talking a little shit in their description here, which I appreciate. So they're saying this beer is not candy or mother's milk. It's not brewed by gypsies or aliens, nor does it contain any zombie dirt. So it's an American-style IPA brewed with Citra hops. It looks like they got a shitload of hops in this. They got Columbus for the bittering, along with a little bit of Citra. And then they're adding Citra and Centennial post-boil. So I haven't cracked it yet, but it sounds like it's going to be very
It's good.
potent.
I do very much appreciate the shit talking. Zombie Dirt is
Zombie
a hint
Dirt.
to 3 Floyd Zombie Dust IPA.
Gypsies, aliens, I'm
Yeah.
sure that's...
Something.
Yeah,
But I like it. It's good beer. It's honestly, it doesn't taste 8.2%, which is great because it's... full disclosure, 9 a.m. here when we're recording this, so
a little bit earlier.
a little bit early, but yeah, what do you guys think about it? Bill, Mark, what are you guys thinking about it?
Yeah, it's 68 IBU, you said? So
Yes.
It's one away from your favorite number?
Yeah, 67. 67, yeah.
It's good, man. It's solid. It's solid.
I like the way it sits in the back of my tongue. You know,
It does. It's just kind of soft, and
Mhm.
it is. It's good hazy.
Yeah, it's not too over the top, I don't think. It's very balanced, but it's still got a lot of flavor. I was not expecting that. I thought I was going to kick my ass a little bit more.
Yeah,
but-
great can art too. I love can. I'm a can art snob. I like to see good can art. And this one's got some guy holding a mace with some arrows and tatted up with is that a goose? I guess with a mohawk.
something
That's
like
an
that.
ostrich, bro.
Ostrich. All right.
And the ostrich also has a tattoo on his
He does. Yeah, that's impressive.
Thug ostrich.
Yeah.
That's a great band name.
Ooh.
Thug
all right.
ostrich.
I like it.
Podcast is transitioning to band music
go.
now.
Well, like we said, we have Mark Proctor and Bill West on the show. Bill, you will remember from a few episodes ago, but I'm going to kick it over to Mark to just briefly introduce himself and just tell us why he's here.
Hey guys, first of all, thanks for having me. It's pretty cool. First time. So I'm
I
gonna
like
be
being somebody's first.
I'm gonna be representing all of middle-aged white people or men on the United States. No, really, I'm 47. I teach high school math. I play in a band with Bill, and so I'll try to be giving some thoughts on our topic today.
Yeah, we do have 2/3 of the Mickey Norwood band here,
Yeah.
so
Ooh, how can we get all of them?
that's what I'm saying.
We need another
I
mic?
need a live in studio performance.
I think we need
next
to.
time.
We probably need to sign a contract with them and hire them to play a gig while we do our podcast.
Wait, I thought they were going to pay us
That's a good
for
point.
being on the podcast.
Yeah,
we
I-
have such a big following.
Yeah, right.
All 14 people.
I thought of that backwards.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
appreciate every single one of you 14 people.
All right, Cam, why don't you kick us off with our serious topic of the day?
Yeah. So this was brought to us by Mark. He wanted to talk about this because, as he mentioned, he is a high school teacher, and I think he has some pretty strong feelings on this topic. And after he sent us the topic idea, I also have some strong feelings. So the official serious topic question is the increasing prevalence of smartphone usage causing a significant decline in cognitive and mental well-being. Basically a fancy way of saying our cell phone's fucking us up.
Yeah, rotting our brains out,
Yep.
kind of thing.
Yep.
Yes, the end. All right, thanks, guys.
Done. I need to get my phone real quick so I can check something.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, you wanted to start with a question here, didn't you?
Yeah, all right. So here's my question for you guys. If you had a magic wand and you could wave it and smartphones never existed and you didn't know the technology existed. So you basically took us back to the 90s, right? Would you say yes? Would you use that magic wand to do that?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a really good question.
And I want to ask it again after we have the conversation and see if anybody's
Okay.
minds are changed after the conversation. So
I would say I inherently want to throw my phone in a river probably multiple times a week. So
But we're taking this from the perspective that we don't even know it was ever a possible thing.
Right.
exactly, you don't know it was a thing. By the way, you can do that.
You can.
I can do
Nobody's
it right now.
stopping you.
There's a creek not too far from the house.
As much as I really don't like being tethered to phones and how everyone's tethered to phones. I do think they serve a very practical purpose in life, so I probably would not elect to take that option, but I do not make that decision lightly because I would love to wave that wand.
You're conflicted. I
I'm
see it. I can
conflicted.
see it in his
Yeah,
eyes.
I'm conflicted,
He's got
yes.
tears rolling down his cheeks right now. What about you, Cam?
Me, I like to think of myself as a moderately simple man. Not that smart, not that be a simple. Yeah. So obviously we're prefacing this that we have zero inclination that this was ever a possibility. So I wouldn't feel like I'm missing something.
You wouldn't feel like you're missing something. Neither would anyone else.
No.
Yeah.
So in that case, yeah, I'm good with it. I mean,
You would choose that?
Yeah, I'd wave
path?
that one.
Okay.
I think we as a society would be a happier people because we and Tyler and I did an episode early on about social media and kind of how it's negatively influencing a lot of aspects of our lives. So I think it would get rid of that.
Also wouldn't, the four of us wouldn't be together right now.
That's a good point. No, the
Doing
pros
that.
and cons, certainly.
Actually, though, I was thinking about this when you brought this up. I mean, yeah, we have podcasts, but we had the radio before, and what if we could do satellite radio but not cell phones? Then we'd still have maybe not as many options, but still a ton of options. And so, like, we could still maybe do it, like,
I think we could. I mean, people still found ways to communicate back before cell phones.
You definitely could, but I think the convenience of it, the technology aspect, and I think cell phones, are on the forefront of, pushing the boundaries of technology too. So I think maybe we would have gotten there at some point, but I think it would be a very delayed, evolution of technology if that was the case.
Yeah. Mark, what are you doing? You waving the wand?
I think so.
I mean, I would like to.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm surprised. Okay.
Just, again, something I was talking to Bill about on the way here. I was a gradual acceptor of cell phones and texting and that kind of stuff.
You used a flip phone until like a year ago?
Yeah.
He's a BlackBerry guy.
Yeah. Tap, double tap. Where all the...
the T9 to get to the A, and then you miss it, and you got to go all the way over again.
Exactly. Yeah. But, I mean, I was fine with that.
Yeah. I've often considered going back to one of those types of phones, just like a standard cell phone, so I still get texts and I can still call, but it gets rid of all the
other distractions.
the computer aspect of it.
Yeah. I think I've heard there's a movement. I mean, I don't know how big it is, but I think I remember hearing like there's a section of people that are like deciding to do that.
Yeah.
There's probably a market.
I think so.
Oh yeah.
What about you? What's your take on it, Bill?
Dude, I thought about
wand?
this, and I feel like I'm in Tyler's camp where I'm conflicted about it, but
remember, you don't know this technology exists.
Exactly. No, totally. And I feel like looking back, thinking about what my life would be like as an adult if it was the 80s, or the 90s.
Short shorts.
Feels a little less stressful to me. Having said that, I love podcasts. I listen to them all the time. I like Spotify. I found so much music on Spotify that I wouldn't have found otherwise. Social media has been good for us for our band.
Mm-hmm.
The pros do outweigh the cons for me personally, but I wouldn't be devastated. It wouldn't ruin my life if
you would adapt.
Yeah, exactly. I would adapt. So if one of you guys had the wand and said, I'm gonna wave the wand and be like, okay, bro, it's fine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be like, please don't do it.
You brought up the band and music, and I said that would affect the way you guys perform. Mickey's got that iPad with the lyrics that she'll scroll through. So I mean, you could still get around that. You print it off on Microsoft Word.
Remember
or
when we
like
used to print off MapQuest?
Yeah, there's nothing on that iPad, by the way. It's just pictures of turtles. She doesn't know how to read. Love you, Mickey.
All right, so we're going to come back to this question at the end. It's a good question. Like I said, I can see both sides, and I could certainly flip one way or the other. I could easily be persuaded one way or the other. I'm currently, if I could get rid of it, I think I would. I think we'd all be happier, less stress, less anxiety, less depression, all those different types of things.
Yeah.
Well, I think this topic kind of came up due to Mark's career and the experiences that he has with it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that and why you brought it up?
He's on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
And sorry, go ahead.
At Dr. Proctor.
Oh, gosh. I gotta watch what I
Feet
say.
finder.
No,
Yeah.
we have a disclosure. Don't worry. None of your views expressed here
Yeah.
reflect your workplace kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh.
So you're good.
All right, thank you. No, you know, since I started teaching, cell phones have been an issue as far as keeping kids' attention, that kind of thing.
Oh, you said you were 47. So when you started teaching, were cell phones a thing?
Yeah, but
Just
again,
barely.
just so texting was a thing,
Gotcha.
but obviously not smartphones. Well, not obviously, but they smartphones weren't in wide usage
Gotcha.
when I first started. But kids could, I mean, they could text in their pocket without even looking, you know.
Mhm.
But over the years, and it wasn't good, but it has gotten worse and worse and worse as far as usage and honestly, like the brazen, like I'm gonna watch a video.
Disrespect.
In the front, I'm gonna sit in the front row and I'm gonna watch a video while you're 2 feet away from me trying to explain something.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd lose my shit.
When
No.
he told me that was a thing, my mind was blown.
That takes
I
some
assumed
balls.
that cell
Yeah.
phones were not allowed. At least keep them in your backpack or something.
Right.
Yeah. So, and again, I'd mentioned this to Bill, but when I first started teaching, if a kid had their cell phone out, I would usually give them a warning, maybe 2 warnings, but then after that, I could take it up and keep it for the full class period.
So that was a school implemented policy.
Mm-hmm. And then if they did it again, I could take it up and keep it for the full day. And then if they did it again, I could I could take it up, take it to the office, and give it to the office, and they would keep it for a week.
Ooh.
And
How do parents feel
Yeah, how
about
do-
that?
how do-
well, back then that was just policy. Now they weren't happy about it, but you know,
They enforced it, or they I guess they didn't have a choice. Well, they did. I mean, ultimately, it's still personal property. They
Well-
could come in and say, "Give it to me."
I mean, going
yeah, I think probably over time, enough parents complained and
Yeah.
said you can't do this and that kind of thing, and then schools back down, and now kids are like, that's my personal property. You can't take that from me.
Well, so I want to kind of expand upon that. So when you say, okay, say they, use their cell phone all the time and it's in the office for a week, what does that mean? Is that just during the school day where you have to drop it off at the office at the beginning and pick it up at the end of the day, and outside of school hours you still have your property? Or is it literally locked in that office entire week and you're without a cell phone?
If I remember correctly, because
This was 2007, ish, right?
yeah,
When this,
I first
okay.
started
This is
teaching
not
in
current.
06.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it
just
was-
curious.
It was 06, 07, 08, maybe when that policy was in place. I think I probably only had that happen with maybe one of my students, and I think it stayed we had like a vault,
Nice.
Huh.
and I think it stayed in the vault for the entire week.
Wow.
That
I
would
don't-
never fly today.
No, I was going to say, I
No.
don't think that would fly today, but that's interesting.
so,
But hey, actions have consequences.
yeah.
Right?
Not
Interestingly
anymore.
enough,
Yeah, not anymore, apparently.
Right.
Tennessee actually recently, Representative Rebecca Alexander recently introduced a bill trying to basically prohibit cell phones across the entire state in Tennessee. So this is Tennessee specific.
I did see- I
In
did-
general or in
For
the classroom?
schools?
In schools,
Oh,
yeah.
in
So
schools, okay.
and this is a moderately recent article. This article was published April, so I don't know if it's gone to vote or not. But yeah, it says cell phones during class should be prohibited. She introduced a bill basically proposing that it would do just that. What do you think about that?
Yeah. So Mark actually was telling me on the way over here that he found a study regarding ACT scores
Ooh, let's hear
in
this.
recent years.
Oh yeah.
And the results are maybe what you might expect.
No, and I when I was doing some research, I found similar things that test scores, performance have all gone down in recent years. So give us what you got over there, Mark.
So I just looked up average ACT score, and I only looked back to 2003, and from 2003 to 2017, it fluctuated, but it basically stayed within 1/10 or 2/10 of a point. But from 2017 to now, it has decreased every year. So it went from an average score of 21 down to 19.5.
Ooh.
That's down
19.
1.5 points. And
That's pretty bad.
What'd y'all get in your ACTs?
Let's not talk about that.
I don't know. I think I might have you beat.
30,
Oh, fuck off,
39.
It only goes up 36.
Yeah, I got
Bill.
extra credit.
It only goes. No, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever
mm-hmm.
because I mean if you're not paying attention, how can you do well?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that while the ACT scores probably, I mean, they definitely did go down, that is a bar that stayed the same. Whereas with your grades in your school, I would imagine that has kind of, there's been more of a curve in recent years, I assume, which you may not feel comfortable talking about. But I've talked to other teachers who are like, if the kids just show up, they can pass. Like the bar has gotten so low in public education, which is a totally different conversation.
Listen,
and one that should be had. But I would imagine the grades in school are probably about the same. But the ACT is the bar that stayed the same, and that's where you're seeing.
I will
the
just
change.
say this:
Yeah.
the end of course exam in my class is heavily curved.
Yeah.
And
Like your mom.
She's a nice lady.
Hey, man.
I can speak to this too. I'm also an educator, not in the public realm. I teach college at a private university, and I've been teaching for about a decade now. In my exams, I was actually just talking about this the other day. I have had to make them easier over the last 10 years because of complaints from admin. They're like, "Oh, retention's getting too high. You're failing too many students. You need to do better." So
No, they
it's
need
across
to do
the board.
better.
It's across the board that it's not just at public. It's not
Yeah.
just high school level.
I think in high school it's all about graduation.
it
right?
is.
And so we've
No
got
kid left behind.
right.
Some kids need to be left behind. I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
Cam, are you seeing students paying attention to their phone more than you? I mean, is that a thing?
Oh, yeah. See, I teach from home. I am virtual, so I teach via Zoom about 15 hours a week, live lectures. And yeah, 100%, they will be sitting there while I'm teaching, sitting there on their phones. I can see them because you can see eyes. Eyes aren't staring at the screen. They're staring down, doing something or another. And at half the time, because they're on mute, they'll just be sitting there legit having a conversation with somebody else while I'm sitting there teaching. And I'm to the point where I don't care. I'm going to give my lecture. You're going to get what you get out of it, and the end results are going to be on you.
So these are people that are a little older.
Yeah, these are our
And-
average age is actually close to 30 because we're kind of a second chance
30-year-olds
college.
that are paying good money
Yeah, we're
to
not cheap.
hear you teach them a thing.
Yep.
They want to be there, and they still can't keep their concentration. Mark's got kids that don't want to be there
Right.
And have to
and
be there.
have a less developed brain.
Yeah.
And I
Prefrontal cortex. Sorry, go ahead.
and I
No,
think
I was just going to say they have to be in my class.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
They don't have a choice.
And that's the thing. I don't have a problem with people fucking off in Cam's class because it's like you're an adult. You're a
And
grown ass
that's
person.
how I treat it. You have made the decision to come here. You've paid your good money. If you fail the class, that's on you.
Yeah, it's on you. You don't care either way.
Yeah.
But in public education and kids,
No, that's a problem.
do
Yeah.
they even have the
Mental
cognitive
capacity,
ability
yeah.
to know the
Yeah.
capacity to go, I need to put this phone down and pay attention.
They don't because they've been stuck on that their entire life. See, we at least had a
Yes.
small portion of our lives where we didn't have cell phones. I got my first cell phone when I was almost 19. So I was just graduated high
Yeah.
school. Kids these days, they've had it from the get-go.
Yep.
Listen, I got a 6-year-old. I get it. He's got an iPad. We regulate it, but still, it's just
So
different.
when does Amos get his first cell phone?
Tiff and I have had that discussion. I would like to say high school, but realistically, probably going into middle school.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I'm a little younger than you. I got my first cell phone at the end of 8th grade.
Now, you, Bill and Mark, you both have older kids, right? Ish.
9, not that old.
Does your 9-year-old have a cell phone yet?
Oh, no.
My
got
oldest was 4.
No, your oldest is 4. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See, mine's 6, and yeah, I'm thinking. Like I said, I would like to say, okay, freshman in high school, that's when you get it. But realistically,
Well, there's
probably middle
social
school.
pressure, right? Like
There
their
is.
friends get it, and you know,
And listen, I don't care about that. I think it's a lot of parents want to know where the kids are,
I
or what
think
they're doing.
I
these
think
days.
from
And
yeah,
I don't know if that's good or bad.
From a parental perspective,
Both.
I see it as
Yeah.
more of a safety thing than a keeping up with the Joneses thing or a social pressure thing. Because I mean, if especially when you get it to that age, and if you're going to school dances and shit like that, places where you're not there but your kid is, like you want to have that kind of layer of security.
But
where
do we need it?
Kids
we went to
school
I was
dances
gonna
before
say-
smartphones.
I have my hot take, by the way.
Oh, good. Okay.
Mark has hot take.
All right.
You're
help me
welcome.
figure it out.
So, but yeah, to Bill's point, we all went to school, no problem. I just said, Mom, okay, I'm going to this dance. I'll be home at this time. And guess what? We survived perfectly fine.
Sure, I
Yeah.
get that.
And I get it.
Has
Listen,
society changed though?
In what way?
Is it more dangerous? I mean, we've had this conversation, I think, on the podcast before.
The research actually shows that it's less dangerous.
We live in the safest time in human history right now.
But we don't feel like we do.
Okay, so maybe it's a perspective thing and not a reality thing.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll redact that statement then and say maybe you don't. Maybe you wait till high school. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't have kids. I don't care.
Yeah, you're never gonna have kids. You're good.
Are you ever gonna have kids? Man?
No.
Do you care about my kids?
What's that?
Do you care about my kids?
I only care about your kids.
Oh, now it got creepy.
Amos.
I'm gonna tell
He's
them
talking
that.
shit about you, Amos.
And I'm on a list.
There's a 500-foot radius around
My son's
Mark's
upstairs.
kids' daycare.
All right, so let's kind of switch gears a little bit. Well, obviously, we're kind of talking about smartphones in general. Do you think what you're looking at, watching, using that smartphone for, do you think that plays a factor in how well you do or how well you don't do? Kind of get into the social media aspect. Do we think that social media is like TikToks and Snapchats?
Well, something that Mark said to me on the ride over here is he feels that, yes, while he has a lot of, what he feels like is a lot of screen time, he uses it in a productive way.
All right, let's talk about screen time.
So,
You said you wanted to bring this up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's
well, our
break out
phones
our-
track
let's-
how
let's-
much screen time we
Yeah,
have.
everybody break out your phone right
All
now.
right, here we go.
All right, so we're
Ooh.
going to give so most phones, if you have it, just search for whatever device you have. I have an Android because I'm superior to all you iPhone users.
Disagree. Green bubble guy.
I actually just got tipped to switch over last week, and I've never been happier. So let's talk. Most of your phones, again, look at your device, whatever it is. They have a usage report. On Android, it's called Digital Wellness is the tab. On iPhone, it's probably called, who knows, Bill Gates or
Screen time.
Screen time. All right. All right. So let's go around the horn and give our daily average screen time. Tyler, start us off.
Yeah, looking at last week, I haven't averaged it out, but as I click through this, I am between 2 and 5 or 6 hours of screen time.
That
And
feels pretty low.
and it looks like it kind of starts low at the beginning of the week and tapers or increases, Friday,
Now,
Saturday.
does your phone tell you which app you use the most?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Okay, last Thursday, it was 5 hours and 45 minutes. Looks like I spent 3 hours on YouTube,
Well, that's interesting. I never open YouTube.
hour on Facebook, 20 minutes on Reddit, 20 minutes on Messenger, Gmail, Outlook.
All right,
Yeah.
Mark, what are you at?
So my average is about 4 hours and 37 minutes.
All right, I'm feeling superior right now. Not gonna lie.
I will say it says social is an hour and 56 minutes, entertainment hour 23 minutes, and then productivity and finance
All right.
10 minutes.
Productivity. So what are
Solid
what are your
10 minutes,
productivity
buddy.
and finance apps?
Probably like my bank
Okay,
and
gotcha.
things like that.
All right, Bill, where are you at?
I'm probably the worst offender here.
Let's see what you got.
guys. Oh God.
Well, you do run the socials for Mickey Norwood.
That is true, but that's not the excuse I'm going to give.
All right.
It's 7 hours and 5 minutes
A day.
myself. So
Here's
here's the
6
thing.
hours and 45 minutes
many-
is Pornhub.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A lot of that is just pornography. So mine is Spotify is number one, which I
Okay.
listen to a ton of podcasts and music. Like I said, every time I'm driving, even when I'm at work, I'll put on like instrumental jazz or whatever and use that to like focus. But another big one was Hulu, because the baseball game was on the other day.
Mhm.
I was driving a long trip. I turned on the baseball game through
Yeah.
Hulu so I could listen to it while I was driving. So,
Do you
probably
consider
threw the numbers up a little bit.
I guess it technically is screen time. I'm going off the Spotify thing. Like, to me, that's not necessarily bad.
No, because you're listening to music. If you could deduct those, so like
I think that
screen
might
time is more socials. I would think.
I think
Yeah.
that skews the data a little bit
It
because
does.
it's like I listen to Spotify. On my way to work, on my way back from work, during work. So I think that could help in
Yeah.
productivity.
I don't wanna
you
get-
got
I
an
don't wanna
Android, which may not count that,
That's a good point.
versus,
I don't want to get us off track, but maybe we'll come
you guys
back
believe
to
in
this.
angels?
You don't?
I do.
No,
I'm
but-
sitting across from one right now.
We can maybe come back to this. But another thing we were talking about on the way up here is like we maybe don't count Spotify or whatever as screen time, but I was telling Bill like I used to go for a run and I would just listen to the world, nature, whatever, or I would go to the gym and didn't listen to anything.
Yeah.
I would talk. I'm not like super outgoing, but I would talk to people, and eventually I had some friends at the gym.
Yep.
Right now, when I go for a run, put the earbuds in.
I'm
when
the
I'm
same
at the
way.
gym, earbuds in.
I put
And
the
so,
earbuds
like,
in when I mow the lawn. I'm listening to
Yeah.
audiobooks, but
exactly.
still, that's I
Yeah.
don't. I mean,
Right.
so I'm the same way.
What's your screen time?
All right, my screen time. Like I said, I feel superior to all you. I'm going back a couple weeks. I'm let's see, May 19th to 25th.
I'm going to handpick this data so it looks
No,
better.
I'm gonna give you like the next 4 weeks.
cherry picking.
May 19th to 25th, hour 24 minutes a day. May 26th to June 1st, hour 55. June 2nd to June 8th, so through yesterday, 2:38. My average is about 3 hours and 2 minutes. So.
Sounds like you're
pretty
you're
good.
living
Most
your
of
life
it-
somewhat.
Pretty good.
Most of
Yeah.
it's socials because I don't really. I mean, I use Spotify and things like that. Most of my Instagram is by far my my most used. It also tells me apps opened per day, which is interesting, or like how many times you've opened an app. So let me get that for you because that's a little different. It was.
Oh yeah. How many times do you reach for your phone every day?
Yes.
Probably a
Yeah.
shitload.
Yes.
Let's see.
Can't even
Yeah, so
unblock it.
Instagram is by far my most. Facebook's second, and then just normal Firefox browsing is third for me.
So I also noticed the data that shows like how many times you pick up your phone.
Yeah.
And mine was like an average of I think 140 something a day. And if I did a little calculating, if I'm awake for 16 hours, that's like picking my phone up 9 times an hour.
Jeez.
I'm looking at mine, just scrolling through. I'm between 40 and 100 unlocks a day.
I've had 13 unlocks today already.
I've had 12. Yeah.
Where do you find that?
I'm
I don't know. It shows that it's on the dashboard. So I've on average this week I've had 108 unlocks a day on average.
Mine's only got one unlock. I just leave it. I'm just constant.
It's just always
7 hours straight.
I get about 100 notifications a day. So yeah, my average is about 3 hours a day. Most of it's social, and then the second, it's 2 hours and 56 minutes of social, and then 8 minutes of health and fitness, and then productivity and
we
finance.
can tell.
Yeah, productivity. You like these titties, don't you? So yeah. I mean, yeah. So yeah. Long story short, we all use our phones a lot. Look at your phone. Kind of tell us in the comments section. Are you better, worse than us? What are you using your
Just in general.
your Instagram, or what are you using your phone for the most?
Now, I would be curious is what the baseline is. Like, what's your average high schooler? What's your average, college age?
Mark has some numbers.
Oh, good.
Mark's got some numbers.
Good
for you.
segue.
Good.
hang
Love
on.
a
Hang on.
segue.
I gotta find it. Let's see here.
He just
Okay.
added 2 unlocks to his daily total.
Yep.
Let's see here. Where was it? You might. Oh no, I found it. Okay. So these are age groups. So 16 to 24-year-olds. There's not a huge difference between these age groups, but 16 to 24-year-olds, the average is somewhere around 7 hours and 15 minutes. 25 to 34-year-olds, the average is closer to like 7 hours.
I would have thought it would have been a bigger drop. You're
It's
working more. You got more responsibilities, but I guess not.
Yeah.
35 to 44-year-olds averages closer to 6.5 hours, and then 55 to 64-year-olds, the average is 5 hours 15 minutes.
So the
Cool.
overpopulation, which doesn't surprise me.
Right.
It kind of does surprise me a little
You
bit.
think so?
They're retired, and like I guess I'll be interested to see what their use on like certain apps are. I bet Facebook is higher for that group than it is for
But
any other group. Yeah.
I could be wrong here, but
Yeah.
I would bet that age group is on a laptop or a computer
That's a good point.
on Facebook.
My mom, she's
On a typewriter.
She'll be. I think my mom will be 60 this year, and like to get her to answer a text or a call is pretty hard to do because she won't look at it for like 4 or 5
Mhm.
hours at a time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But she's always got Facebook or something open on her laptop or
Yeah.
computer sitting there.
That makes sense because they're trying to keep up with, their kids and their grandkids
Yeah.
and see what's going on. And like I said, if they're retired, they'd, probably fill their time that way.
So why do we think people in general feel this need to have their phones with them all the time? Is it FOMO? Tyler's the worst FOMO.
Yeah. I don't know. My personal opinion is I think there is FOMO, and I think people can get addicted to their cell phones.
100%. It's a dopamine hit.
Yeah, but for me personally, I have I have anxiety about my cell phone when it comes to like work. So
We
it's like,
talked about this in the last episode.
I got my email. I got all my work emails on my phone.
So there's a possibility there's something negative in there that you don't want to see.
Right.
So you want to keep your like I didn't see it.
Right.
They
It's
haven't
like-
seen that you've seen the email. You haven't read the email
Yeah.
yet, so you're not
Yeah.
on the
So
hook
like,
or
I'll,
whatever.
I'll
Yeah.
check my work email over the weekend just because like I have anxiety about coming in Monday morning into an absolute shitstorm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really where.
And that's taking from your happiness.
It is.
Yeah.
That's
is.
on a Sunday
And
afternoon,
full,
bro.
full disclosure, our last episode, the one before this one, is actually work-life balance. Tyler and I kind of talked about work-life
Gotcha.
balance, so
Yep.
it's a nice segue.
Hmm.
But yeah, we all feel this need to constantly be connected. Why? What is it? Is it from what do you think, Mark? Is it work? Is it
For me, it's not work. I mean,
you're able to cut off when you get clock out every day, essentially?
yeah, I will say this. I think in a way I'm in a unique situation because the school I started teaching at was kind of rural, and the kids were even the bad kids weren't really bad kids.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't really have to check my email all that often, especially over the weekend. You know. Now, granted, the school I'm at now, I think I've got to be more
A little more responsive.
vigilant, you know, but I try to cut loose a little bit.
That's good. I mean, and that's hard to do because most people don't do that.
It's hard to do, and really, like I said, going from the other school to my current school, I've had to adjust because I do feel the responsibility. Like you have to care about the kids.
Yeah.
You really do.
right.
And if I don't check my email, then I might miss something. But that in a way that does kind of play into the cell phone thing. Where like I might miss something.
Yeah.
I might miss something that's important.
What about you, Bill?
Water off a duck's back, man. When I clock out,
You're good.
I don't think about it, man.
I wish I could do that.
I wish I could too.
I
I
purposefully
envy
have
that.
made that decision because that was something that I was
But is that your
kind
new
of like
job?
Tyler, probably around Tyler's age. You're a few years younger than me. How old are you?
I'll be 32 in July.
32. So you're about 9 years younger than me. So yeah, when I was your age, same deal, dude. And then I just at one point was like, I'm just not happy. I'm not happy like this, and I have to stop.
I was checking emails on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
no, you can't do
whoa.
that.
We've
bro.
had this discussion.
I know.
Wow.
And I did the same thing beginning of 2023, so a little over a year and a half ago now. I said, you know what? I'm deleting all of my work email off my phone.
So
I did.
Yeah.
And honestly, I recommend it to everybody now.
Yeah.
It's the best thing I've ever done. It's simple because I'm going to check it. I'll still pop into my office like 6 o'clock at night just to check it. That's the bad thing about being remote is I'm always connected. I don't actually officially ever get to leave the office
Right.
because my house is my office.
Right.
But I think just not having it on my phone when I go out makes a big difference.
even at work, pro tip here, if you've got those notifications that'll like pop up in your Outlook that say like, hey, you got an email, it gives you a little thing.
Turn that
like,
off.
Yeah. Turn that off. Do a task at a time. One, because we think we can multitask. We can't
The
multitask.
research shows
dude.
that
We
people
cannot
cannot.
multitask.
Yeah.
Do a
So-
thing at a time and check your email every 30 minutes.
I'm
It
the
is
worst.
okay to respond within 30 minutes.
See, I'm the worst about that.
Yeah.
I'm-
Do
I'm-
not don't let it drive you. You drive it.
Yeah.
So cut those notifications off. Do your thing. Check it on your time.
It's so bad. For me, it's so bad too because I work in a manufacturing facility in the office, and it's like I got my computer at my cubicle. It's like, oh, I got to go down to shipping. I'll take my phone, go down to shipping for 15 minutes, and I'll check those notifications
While you're there.
3 times while I'm on my way and back from shipping to see what emails I had come in.
Oh,
at that time.
you're making it harder
I
on
know.
yourself than it needs
I
to
know.
be, buddy.
I don't know what it is.
I can fix you.
I like the way that sounds, Bill.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. So then what do we think the negative repercussions of all this is?
Mental health, 100%.
Yo.
Mental health? What are you seeing from like your student standpoint, Mark? Because you teach younger kids, so they're still, again, as we talked about earlier, they're still developing cognitively. They are not where they should be. So what are you seeing kind of, what do you think some of the long-term repercussions there are?
Well, to go back just a step, I found some research from Stanford that was, they were studying how well students think they can multitask. And this isn't a surprise, but like people overestimate how well they can multitask,
Yeah.
right? And then some of these other, I found a couple of articles where it was like, you know, even having your cell phone on your desk, even if you don't touch it, even that is a distraction. And I mean, I see it all the time. And it's not even just it's not even just being distracted. It's like I mentioned earlier, it's like the level of respect. And I think students now have the feeling that if I don't want to do this, I don't have to. And in a way they're right, because
You're
again,
not making them.
well, yeah, again,
Right.
tied back to what Bill mentioned earlier, we kind of have to, okay, I've got to get a certain number of kids to pass because we got to meet graduation rate. And so I think just over time, teachers have been like, I don't want to fight this battle.
Agreed. You got to pick and choose.
Right.
Well, they don't, I mean, yeah, you're right. They technically don't have to do anything, but they shouldn't be surprised with the consequences that come from those actions.
Right. But not every teacher is willing to
Fight that battle.
enforce
Yeah.
the policy.
And
Gotcha.
we have some policies like that. Like I'm supposed to kick a student out of my class if they're not legit on their Zoom screen while I'm teaching.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah,
They have to have
I'm supposed to.
They have to have their cameras on?
They're supposed to have their cameras on,
Mhm.
and if I ask them a question, they're supposed to respond within a reasonable amount of time. Is kind of what we say. I'm not fighting that battle.
Mm.
These people are paying to be there. I'm there to teach them. They're going to get what they get out of it.
And the thing is, if you're fighting that one person that's, screwing off, you're affecting the other people that are
Exactly.
actually
That's the
paying
problem.
attention and want the information that you're trying to provide.
That's
so
the problem.
yeah, if you want to screw off, go ahead. It's your money. It's your time.
So, do we think this? All right, and I always put the onus back on parenting, because I think at the end of the day, all of this comes back to parenting.
I agree. I don't know if I would say I agree. Like that's 100% the issue, but it's a large
Because the parents are fighting the battle to have their kids have their phones on them.
Well,
at all
that
times.
too, but
Mhm.
they're also not disciplined. I think we've gone away from, and I'm not saying we need corporal punishment and that you should be spanking your kids and whatnot, but we don't hold kids to a standard anymore. I don't feel like as parents.
Yeah.
Tyler will spank your kid.
He'll spank my kids.
With
Tyler.
Don't get within 500 feet.
I had a lot of smart ass comments, but I'm just gonna let that one go for my own well being. Shit, I had a good point, but I forgot.
Well, all right, Mark, what do you think? Do you think a lot of this comes back to parenting?
Definitely. And some of it, again, my first school was a rural school, and I feel like, the hardworking people, they
Yeah.
work on farms.
They expected a lot of their kids.
Yeah. And I mean, some of those kids don't even finish high school, but they immediately go to work, and they're hard workers.
And they're successful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like the current school, not that there aren't hard workers there and smart kids and kids that maybe aren't as smart but are hard workers or whatever, but I feel like some of the parents at this school, maybe it's just because it's 10 years later,
Yeah.
maybe it's because society has changed, but it's, again, it's their right to have their phone, or it's,
Entitlement.
yeah, a little bit.
I think a big portion of it too is parents are using, technology to help parent in a way. And I use the term parent loosely there because they'll throw the iPad at their kid and just say, yeah, entertain yourself for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to deal with you.
And I mean, you've seen it. We'll go out have some drinks and we'll bring Amos with us because, I mean, that's what we do. And same thing. I'll just like, hey, chill on your tablet for a little while.
Yeah, you leave him in the car with the windows up.
100%.
Yeah, lock
And
it
just
in.
put a note on the
He's
door.
locked
He's
in
got
there.
water. Yeah.
Glowing rectangles, dude. Humans love our glowing rectangles, don't we? Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
Just,
Oh, yeah.
It mesmerizes. Like, my kids will be watching TV in the morning, and I'll
My
be like,
1-year-old daughter
yeah.
will just stand and stare at the TV sometimes.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were about to say that.
I do think there's a difference between, and I'm not just saying this because we're friends, but what you do with Amos, like we'll go out as a group to the breweries,
Yeah.
and it's a bunch of adults at a brewery, and you got one child who doesn't necessarily have anyone around him. So yeah, you're gonna want to entertain him for a while.
Yep.
But I don't see that you do that at home.
No, and you're right. At home, we do regulate his screen time quite a bit.
And I think that's where the problem is when you're at home between when school ends and when you go to bed. And if they're just on their tablet or their phone or whatever the entire time, I think the parents are using that as a crutch to kind of get a little bit of relief in their own personal lives.
$1 million idea here.
What you got?
A brewery for children. That's what we're missing.
Right. So instead of we got like Kool-Aid on tap.
Yeah, exactly. So they
I would
have their
go.
own little.
And then
their own
instead
little-
of us bringing drinks for our kids, we
Yeah.
got to bring our own beers for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. I would shoot myself as a bartender.
I want Amos to come. I want the purple Kool-Aid.
Honestly,
God damn it, Tyler!
that
I
milk-
said purple.
That milk is too frothy.
He's starting getting
Give me
lit
milk
from
in
a
a dirty
6-year-old.
glass.
Yeah. Honestly, I know you're joking, but I don't. From a social construct standpoint, and having like kids, learn about the real world, that's not a crazy idea. I have a couple of regulars at the brewery who bring their younger kids in. They're probably, I don't know, between 6 and 8 years old. And, we serve non-alcoholic stuff, sodas and whatnot, and they make their kids come up to the bar and order a soda from me and tell me where to put it on the tab and everything like that. And you could tell they're super uncomfortable about it.
100%.
And of course, I'm an asshole, so I make them feel like
Even
even
worse.
more uncomfortable.
As you're leering at
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We do the
But-
same thing with Amos.
But honestly, that's a really
It's building those social skills.
I'd say that's really good parenting.
Yeah, we do the same thing with we'll make him, if he wants a soda at 1907, we'll go up and ask Tyler what he's got, and he always him and haws. He's like, no, I don't want to do this, and then we're like, well, watch, you're from the table, but he usually succeeds, and I think that's a good thing to build those social skills in kids.
Oh, 100%.
All right, so I kind of want to switch gears a little bit here, and we've talked about kind of the mental aspects of cell phone usage. As an exercise scientist, I want to talk about the physical aspects.
Oh, okay.
So the actual, what are we physiologically doing to our kids? So I did find a study that was just published, I think it was 2022. And this one basically looked at the impact of low versus high cell phone usage on various physiological kind of things. And they found that people with high cell phone usage had worse eyes, more neck pain, more back pain, higher rates of obesity and overweight, greater rates of depression. But they also found that the people with low cell phone usage felt disconnected and lonelier.
I think it kind of goes back to everything in life that everything's good in moderation.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think if you're on one extreme or the other, it's probably not healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we moderate it then?
I think it comes down to I don't think you can. I think it's the personal choice.
The individual.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so Mark, what advice would you have for parents of kids going to school regarding cell phones?
That's a tough one because, there's a part of me that's with my own kids, I would be like, you're not taking a phone to school.
You say that now
you
because
don't
they're
need it.
young.
Right.
You're taking a gun to school.
And that's what I'm saying.
This is America.
Yeah,
This is America.
You're gonna learn mixed martial arts, and you're gonna take a cell phone, and no. Again, I'm gonna say my hot take, but I think I would just say, yeah, you can take your phone, but if I hear from your teachers that you're on your phone and you're not paying attention, then I'm gonna take it away.
Discipline.
Yeah.
Discipline.
Right.
And listen, I'm not going to get off on some boomer tangent where kids these days aren't disciplined enough, but I do think it comes back to that,
Mhm.
is that we don't put enough responsibility on our kids, and put that responsibility on your kids. Make them responsible for something. They'll rise up to it, I promise. Most of the time, they will rise to the occasion.
We sometimes get emails from parents that I don't know what to do, and I'm like, well, did you take their phone from them?
That's the problem, is they'll take it and they'll be like, oh, after 3 hours, I'll give it back to them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or some of the kids are smart and they'll just get a burner phone.
Oh, yeah.
These kids are way too fancy these days.
Yeah.
And too rich, I guess. You're buying burner phones? I was too poor to do that. I didn't even have a cell. We shared a family cell phone until I was 18.
You talk about the depression thing of not having your phone. That surprised me, to be honest with you, because when I was a kid, I mean, even at a young age, I would go sit outside and just listen to the birds sing and breathe the fresh air and just let my mind wander. I was bored, and being bored can be a beautiful thing. And now, as an adult, I have to be entertained 24/7. If I'm bored,
You flip
remember
on your
going
phone.
like, have you ever like not had your phone on you when you went to take a poop?
Oh, it's terrible.
And you're like, I guess I'll read the shampoo bottle again. Like, it's a different world, but yeah, I mean, like I am constantly, if I'm cleaning the kitchen, I'm not going to just clean the kitchen. I got to have a podcast on.
You're gonna
it's,
have
You
podcasts
know?
or music.
Yeah,
on.
I have to be entertained
I
at
do the same
all
thing.
time.
It's impossible to be bored nowadays.
Yeah,
And that's not a good thing. I don't think.
I don't think so. I think being bored. I think there's value in being bored,
Mm-hmm.
You have to use your
allowing
brain.
your mind to wander and get to
All right.
having some quiet time.
I haven't been bored in 10 years.
I'm gonna goal for all of us this week.
Okay.
Oh.
You cannot poop with your cell phone.
All right.
My poops are gonna be so much shorter.
Oh yeah, you'll be in and out.
My wife thinks I have a medical condition.
Why have you been in there so long?
I'm avoiding you.
All right, 1 week straight, 7
And the
straight
children.
days. 7 straight days. This is a Sunday, so till next Sunday, no pooping
No
with the cell phone.
I'll sign up for this. I don't know what I'm going to wipe with. but-
How how are we gonna hold everyone accountable?
Well, it's
Video.
Everybody
Well-
FaceTime.
Well, you can't because that's cell phone.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Damn
Oh
it.
man.
This is the honor
gotta take a
system.
picture.
I'm gonna bring a Polaroid camera in the toilet with me.
I've got a camcorder over.
The honesty or the honor system. I'm gonna trust that you guys will follow through. Everybody committing. Bill's committing.
I'm
Mark,
in.
Mark, you committing?
Sure.
1 week.
Sure.
Yeah,
1
fuck
week.
it. Let's go.
All right, 1
Well,
week.
we gotta circle back to this.
Yeah.
We
and,
will.
like see how it
Yeah,
went.
we'll
Yeah.
bring you guys back on.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else? Anybody want to say it on this?
Has anybody changed their opinion from
yeah, let's go
our
back.
initial?
Give us the first question
Yeah.
again.
So if you had the magic wand and you could just make cell phones were never a thing, smartphones were never a thing, would you?
I don't think I've been swayed. I'm still on the fence about it, but if there was a gun to my head, I'd probably still want the technology.
That's fair. Mark,
I agree.
where you at?
All right, I'll try not to make this too long, but kind of going back to your question about parental influence, right? Like me as a teacher, I should enforce the policy.
Yep.
Right? But my enforcing of the policy probably has very little to do with whether or not the kid continues to be on their phone, right? So it starts before that, right? So again, with like going back to would I rather be on the phone or have a phone or not have a phone? I would definitely rather have a phone. But for like the general population, again, as you said, Tyler, everything in moderation. Not everybody can moderate themselves well, and so somewhere, somebody, parents or whoever, has to help.
We need a moderator.
Yeah, has to help them learn how to moderate, and we, I think, as a society, have gotten worse at that. At like, here's a good example. Here's how you can moderate yourselves.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. Put the responsibility back on parents to teach their kids how to moderate.
And you've said that a million times on this podcast before.
I have. I like I said, I teach for a living, so I'm big on parents. I teach nutrition as one of my main subjects, so I'm big on the parents kind of being the example for their kids in pretty much every aspect of life. This is just another one of those aspects, I think.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, you're
Yeah, I think I'm staying.
firm.
I'm staying where I was. I mean, even like just keeping up with the news in the world. I mean, like on the way here, we heard about the Lorena Bobbitt thing. I didn't know about that. The news that popped up while we were driving here.
Wait, what
Yeah, I didn't hear about it. She
got
passed
off
away.
another day.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, I know it's not like a news. I know it's not like up to date.
died?
This is not an evergreen topic. But yeah, as we were driving here, we found out that she died. In a
And she's the
car
one who
wreck,
cut
yeah.
off her husband's.
Yeah. It was a car wreck. And,
Are we sad about this? I need to know how I need to feel.
Yeah, evidently some dick cut her off.
Dun-dun.
Sorry. Well played.
Did you literally bring that
Just-
up just to make that shitty joke?
Yeah, I did. 100%.
Well done. That's a great joke.
Thanks.
Wow. Okay.
All right, Cam, what about you, buddy?
So again, I'm taking this from the perspective that I never knew cell phones existed. If I never knew cell phones existed, would I be happy without them? Yes. Do I give in to the fact that they offer many, 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 many benefits to our lives? Also, yes. So if I had to pick and choose, if I knew cell phones existed and I had the choice to pick whether or not I could or couldn't have one, I gotta have one.
Yeah.
Because they do offer so many different things in life, so many different.
So you're changing.
I
like it.
I'm changing the way I'm looking at the question.
Okay.
Again, your initial question was, we never knew cell phones existed.
Right.
If I never knew cell phones existed, I don't want to change that.
Okay. Got it.
But because I do know they exist, I do think they offer many, many benefits to society. But as Mark said, we need to learn how to moderate those benefits.
Yeah.
There.
I get it.
Agreed.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. Share your opinions with us. Do you think cell phones are bad for us? Good for us?
Text us.
Text us.
It's
Use
on
your
Instagram.
cell phone to tell us
But
what
not
you
while
think
I'm
about
pooping.
cell phones, but not while we're pooping for the next 7 days.
Shut down your podcast app and then open up a different app. Open up your social media and comment.
Push pause. Yeah. God.
Do you hate social media as well?
If you hate social media,
smartphones? Yeah.
you're probably not telling us on social media. Yeah, we're in trouble. All right. This is not good for our long-term business plan here, Tyler.
We have a business plan.
No, absolutely not.
All 8 viewers
All
that are
8
supporting
viewers.
this podcast.
It's getting lower every time.
We have still, nobody has still bought us a 4-pack of beer yet.
I know. What the hell?
We've been going for almost a year now. We're getting close to the year
No.
mark. It'll be November-ish.
Yeah, we're getting there, I guess.
Yeah.
But
All right.
6 to 8 months.
Somebody.
Just keep on trucking, brother.
Yeah, we'll get there.
All right. Let's switch to the fun topic.
Yeah, let's roll to the fun topic.
All right. You want to introduce it?
Yeah, I have no idea what we're doing. Really.
All right, so basically, it's so if you guys remember a couple of weeks ago, Bill gave us a bunch of would you rather questions, which was honestly the funnest fun topic I've had, just because they're completely random. But Mark's kind of doing something similar, but they're more scenario based.
Yep.
So we don't know the questions. None of us know the questions except for Mark. Mark, are you going to answer as well?
I guess I can. Sure.
All right. So yeah, shoot, take it away.
Okay. I previewed this one, so I'll just start with this one. If you could rename yourself, what new name would it be, and maybe even why?
Huh. I don't know. I would probably say I've kind of given myself like the redneck alter ego name Cricket for some reason.
I've
I
never
like
heard this.
that.
I've known
That
you for a
feels
while.
good.
I've never
That
heard
feels
this.
right.
I have
Cricket,
no
okay.
idea why, but I look at other famous individuals with a singular alter ego name / The Edge. I guess that's 2 names.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's kind of funny.
Why?
So,
I like it.
Why cricket?
I have no idea. It sounds like
You-
half redneck, but I also think I can make up some bizarre ass story of why that is a thing, which I have not done yet.
That's
But-
a nickname somebody gave to you at some point in life.
No, never.
Cricket. No, I'm just saying it would be.
It sounds like it.
You
yeah.
look, I mean, I can see it though.
Like
man.
you walk by this guy,
And I
you
mean,
call
that was a
him-
compliment. Yeah. Like,
You
put
call
some
him
overalls on
lawnmower.
this boy.
There's lawnmower. Lawnmower, what you doing
It's
today?
like maybe I'm like super annoying, but you can never figure out where the fuck it's coming from, kind of a thing. Like I don't know.
Bill, do you remember the fight that we almost witnessed? No, we did. They did fight. Remember those 2 guys that were fighting over the nickname Tiny? Was it Tiny?
It was 2 guys named Tiny, and they were arguing over which was the real Tiny.
Were they both actually physically small?
They were short.
Yeah. And they were bikers, and like, I'm the real Tiny. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm the real Tiny.
Fucking turf war over the.
It
name
ended up
Tiny.
being a street fight. No joke.
Yeah, we used to play some
story.
rough places, man.
Fun story. Tiff's grandma's name, she goes by Tiny. But her actual name, get this, is Mary Betty Chastine McIntosh Bly Jones.
Jesus.
I'm impressed that you remembered all.
I know. I'm impressed too, actually.
Yeah, good job.
Good job, Brain.
She better be careful. She got some
But
bikers
she goes by Tiny.
She got some bikers that are out for
yeah.
blood.
Well,
she
she's
better
like
not-
she's like 85 in nursing home. I think she'll be all right.
That wouldn't stop Tiny from what I've seen. Better stay away from, what was that place called? That awful.
Oh, it changed names. It was
Fat
Fat
Cats.
Cats. Yeah, Fat Cats with a Z.
Shout out to Fat Cat.
With a Z.
All right, Mark, you changed your name?
So I have I don't know if I'd call it an alter ego, but I have another name that I go by sometimes. Walter. No, sorry, I messed it up. Wallace Kensington III.
So you want to
I
be
have
British?
known you for
Yeah.
20 years, and I've never heard that one time.
Really?
Yeah.
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 You want to
The-
be British?
I just think it sounds like
We
noble.
threw
It
their
sounds
tea in
noble.
the harbor for a reason.
Yeah, but they're noble. they've got cool accents, you know.
That's
And if
fair.
I'm the third, like I've got like this cool heritage. Like, ooh, tell me about the second. Tell me about Wallace Kensington the second.
And you're
Or
going to
the
be
What was he like?
Yeah,
and you're going to be rich. Just
that's what I'm
for the
assuming.
fact
That's
of,
what I'm assuming.
All right, so that's actually where I was taking this. So it's a good segue. Is I'm very happy with my name. I like my name, but there are actual stats out there that show that certain names have higher earning potentials.
I think I've heard that.
Yeah, like in America, it's your
Oh.
very basic white boy names like John,
Yeah.
Bill.
Yeah.
Those people typically have higher earning potentials, and the research actually shows that it's just because it's easier to say, simply easier to say.
Right.
So they have a higher likelihood of getting these better jobs.
Huh.
I actually did this at work. So I work with a lot of people, but this one guy, he's a psychologist, and he was telling me how like you go by the shortened version of your name. So my name is Cameron.
Right.
He's like, shorten your like email signature to Cam, and you get better response rates that way. So
You should just change it to K. Like,
just
if you name your kid Jeeves, you're kind of limiting his.
so yeah, I mean,
Change your name to one syllable.
I probably So no, yeah, I'm staying there. Where you at, Bill?
I'm gonna be, if I'm gonna guest on this podcast, I want to be Cam Post, and I just want to make it as confusing for everybody
Nice.
as possible.
Kapost. Kapost.
Yeah.
I like
Super
it.
original.
Yeah. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, what's the next question, Mark? Oh, I like when you
Okay.
laugh.
I like this. I like where
Well,
this is
there's
going.
one I don't know if I should.
Oh,
Do
no.
it.
There's nothing.
Those are the ones you
inappropriate.
should.
Yeah,
the ones
definitely.
you're- yeah.
All right, so let's say you win the lottery.
I did buy a Powerball ticket last night.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Cool story, bro.
Probably gonna work out.
No.
So
Brag.
would you accept your lottery winnings if it was on the condition that you had to donate half to a terrorist organization?
100%.
Ooh, yeah.
100%.
You would,
Yeah,
I guess-
100%.
but half of it goes to ISIS.
What's the lottery? How much is the lottery winning? I guess is the real
No,
question.
that's not relevant.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. I'm
Let's
taking it
say
no matter
it's-
what. I don't care if
let's
it's
say-
$50.
I will say I would take it if it was a lower amount. Right? That'd be
Like
They're
I-
not going to be able to do
What
that
are
much
they
with
gonna do?
$1,000.
Right,
They
right.
buy like an Uzi or whatever.
And buy some sandals.
So I think the highest recorded winning ever was like 1.3 billion or something.
Mm-hmm.
Would you give half that? So half that's going to be about 400 million.
No, the same amount goes to.
Oh, the same
They
amount
get $1 billion.
to ISIS.
I mean, yeah. I
Such
think
a funny question.
I think I would.
Really? Would you use like half of that to build a bunker? I mean, I don't know, man.
I could build a hell of a bunker for that
Our
much
our
money.
U.S.
true.
government spends so much money on military that they can deal with that shit. That's their problem.
That's what I pay taxes. I pay taxes for that.
What about you, Bill? You taking it?
I think I would take like a lower amount. I think I would take like not enough where they can like really do some damage. I don't want to give them like keys to
No,
like,
but I think
you
it's
know.
I think it's easier to do that because it's like, I gave him $50. That's
Yeah.
not going to make or break, dude.
Yeah,
You're
you
talking
guys
about,
can have lunch on me. Like it's fine.
You're
Like,
talking
Get
about
tacos.
a
You have
life.
a little bit of compassion, right? man?
yeah, a little bit.
They're
yeah.
hungry.
You're talking about a life-changing amount of money for you. If you
Yeah.
had $1 billion, if you were given $1 billion, but ISIS got $1 billion,
You
you're
tell
saying
me you would turn that down?
you would turn down $1 billion?
You're a lying
What
sack
would
of shit
I mean,
if you say
honestly,
you would.
though, what would ISIS be able to do with $1 billion? I mean, that's kind of
Yeah,
scary,
that is
isn't it?
scary.
Is it not? That
No,
doesn't
I'm-
scare you?
I'm not saying the ethical aspect is to be deterred, but
What if they were waiting on that money to buy a bomb?
The way I still think of it is our U.S. government. We are the highest spending military in the world. It's legit. It's more than billions.
Right.
I think
Spend that money and put it to use.
I think well, it's like how much tax dollars am I going to pay when I get that $1 billion? It's like that's I'm doing my part. I'm giving it to the U.S. government to
That's a
figure
good
that
point.
out.
Half of that's going to go straight to them.
Justifying my poor decisions here, but
That's
no,
not
I-
a poor decision.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get paid in ham sandwiches. They can't eat pork.
You racist
No.
son of a bitch.
I'll sell.
Really?
I'll sell
Really?
those pork sandwich, those ham sandwiches.
Just lost some listeners.
that's borderline hate crime.
Oh,
All right, I like it. Where you at, Mark? You taking it?
Like I think, like Bill said, if it's a lower amount.
What's your bottom dollar?
Ooh.
$1 million bucks? They get $1 million?
No,
No, that's too much.
that's too much.
$1 million
How can
ain't
they-
shit.
You can't buy an AK-47 for $1 million bucks these days. Well, maybe two, but
Really?
You know jack shit about guns, dude.
I was on blackmarket.com earlier today.
I don't know, maybe like 100,000, couple 100,000.
Oh shit, man! I guess I'm the asshole here, but
No,
whatever.
I'm with you.
I like the honesty, man.
I'm with
I like
you.
the honesty.
Someone asked me $1 billion, give me $1 billion, dude. Yep.
I will say with $1 billion, you can probably find ways to be safe. Like I don't know, buy an island or whatever.
Yeah, it's just all your loved ones and other people that you...
The question is though, even if they had the money, I mean, I don't think ISIS is hurting for money.
No.
You know what I mean? Like,
that's a good point.
Yeah, you're giving them a bunch of money, but what are they going to be able to do with it? And even if they did something with it, like, you got the long shaft of the American military coming over.
That's true.
So,
All right, so a quick Google search: ISIS's net worth $2 billion.
Whoa.
We ain't doing much by giving.
If you're
them,
giving them a third more than they have right now,
what are they gonna? How's that going to change how they do
No,
what they
I
do?
think it would help.
I agree with Cam.
Think about all the team building exercises they could be doing.
That's it.
They could go on retreats.
all the monkey bars
They
they
could
could buy.
sleepovers, yeah. They could buy so many Toyota Helixes.
So $2 billion, you're not doing that much. If
true.
somebody, all right, let's say you got $10,000
All right.
in your bank account right
Okay.
now. Somebody gives you 10,000 more. Is that significantly changing your life? 10,000 more? Not significantly.
Not significantly.
Same with them. They got $2 billion. You give them 500,000 more or 500 million more.
$500,000 is a rounding error.
500
to
million.
ISIS.
It is. That's a good point.
Man, I just feel like I got to be better at business. If ISIS can have $2 billion and I'm over here like...
Death pays.
Also, I'm assuming that ISIS has, the correct financial accountants in place to, keep track of all their revenue.
What do you think it's like to be the accountant for ISIS?
You think?
I would not. That's got to be a high stress job.
They're like,
He's
whatever,
always got
nerd.
himself else on him.
That was a crazy ass question. I loved it.
I'm taking the money all day.
Me too.
Y'all are better people than
I'm
us.
taking ham sandwiches. What'd you get? What's next?
Next.
Okay. Let's see here. Let's see here. Would you rather be a ghost or a zombie?
Ghost, bro.
Yeah, I'm going ghost.
100%.
Okay, why?
You got to defend it.
Float through walls. And
Quality of life.
Yeah. I mean, zombies, you're just like...
Quality of afterlife.
Quality of afterlife.
That's a good point.
Can zombies die? Like in Walking Dead, you got your head cut off, you were dead, or
Yeah,
your brain
That's
smashed
true.
in, you were dead.
But then do they turn into ghosts after that?
Ooh, so best of both worlds.
Oh.
I feel like being a zombie would be you're essentially handicapped. Well, I guess it depends on what kind of zombie. Are you one of like the Walking Dead lethargic zombies?
That's what
or
I
are
think
you like
of, yeah.
one of the super zombies that run and
Like,
really fast?
I Am
and shit?
Legend.
Ooh,
I don't. That's not a realistic.
those guys were jacked. I do like being jacked.
But Walking Dead is very realistic.
No. In my opinion,
I reject your statement.
in my opinion, zombies are not super freak athletes. If you're a zombie, you're slow, lethargic,
Like
stupid.
Decaying.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I don't think you have the ability to run at Mach 3.
I think
Yeah,
I'd
it
be,
feels ghost to me. What about you?
I think I'd be a ghost. Although I do worry about like staying a ghost in, perpetuity.
Like never being able to go
Yeah.
to the afterlife or whatever that is.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I think I could entertain myself pretty well as a ghost.
Yeah, like haunt a movie
Yeah.
theater. Or
Yeah,
like
just freak people out and
I would
shit.
watch so many boobs all the time.
I mean, somebody said what we were all thinking. Thank you, Cam.
Sorry.
So many boobs.
Boobs.
This women's locker room is haunted.
I mean, you're going to see good ones and you're going to see bad ones. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
It's a numbers game, my friend.
Yeah. Now
Quantity
he's the
o-
one that's haunted by what he saw. in there.
quantity over quality. All right. Yeah, I think I'm going ghost as well. Zombies, I feel like a zombie that's short-lived. It's not going to last long
Mm-hmm.
because I'm going to get my brain smashed in by Rick Grimes or something and I'm done for.
All right. If you could sing like any famous singer in the world, living or dead, who would it be? And why?
Living. I don't know. I just feel like dead people can't sing very well. Next question.
No, let's see.
Just kidding. Go ahead. Just go ahead.
Look, I've only got two
I
more
have
questions, Bill.
my answer for
you're
that
killing
one.
it.
Going,
for sure.
I'm
Yeah.
going Freddie Mercury.
Ooh, good
The
one.
vocal range is
Dude,
just...
I just
yeah.
recently read an article that talked about his like vocal cords vibrated at a different frequency.
The normal people, really?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
crazy. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
When
no
you hear
shit.
him sing,
Like, that guy was incredible.
that's what I'm going. If I could sing like anybody, it's got to be Freddie.
Yeah.
Johnny
That's
Cash would be
solid.
fun, too, though.
That's
Just
solid.
because, I like some Johnny Cash, but I think Freddie just because of the range.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't know. What do you got, Bill?
Van Morrison.
Mm.
Alright.
Van
Yeah.
Morrison in his
That's a good
heyday,
one.
like I love the warmth of his voice. In the local scene, the only person I've ever seen that has the warmth like that is Tall Paul. Have you guys ever seen Tall Paul
No.
play? You should go check out Tall Paul. His
Yeah.
voice is so warm. It's like
Very
taking
good.
a bath.
Does he
You
have
know what I mean?
a band name?
Do what?
Is it a band name, or does he just go by
It's just
Tall
him.
Paul?
Yeah, Tall Paul is just one dude, and he's been doing it forever. He was playing when I was in college, 45 years ago.
So he's
And-
our area local?
Yeah, he's a local dude.
All right, I'm gonna
He's
look
at
him
kind
up.
of the top of the acoustic music food chain. He's definitely higher in the pecking order than we are. But shout out to Tall Paul. Love Tall Paul.
Yep.
Nice.
But that warm vocal like tenor that Van Morrison has, I've just never heard anything
I
like
think
it.
he
Sam
has a
Cooke is a
way-
close second though. Sam Cooke would be
Yeah.
number 2 for me there.
I think Van Morrison has a way too of like almost talking, but it sounds like singing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a cool. It's like
It's like he's telling you a story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I'm telling a story, but it's sing song.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love. Yeah. I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
What
That's
about
not my
you?
choice, but
Yeah.
I can't think of his friggin' name, and I, I thought of these questions a few days ago.
You had the biggest advantage out of everybody.
I know. The Journey lead singer. Can't think of his name.
Steve
Oh.
Perry.
Steve Perry. Yes,
Yeah.
Steve Perry.
Yep.
Just because, like, obviously his range is awesome, but I feel like he's one of those singers that can hit the high notes and he doesn't sound like he's struggling to hit high notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
natural.
Yeah, natural. Just go up and down.
That's
No
good.
problem.
Good choice.
Solid.
Tyler, did you come up with one?
Mickey Norwood.
Ooh. Everything's got a little extra twang to it.
Do you have a
It
favorite
does.
Mickey Norwood song?
Other than Discovery Channel, other
Dude,
than
You
the Bad
and
Touch.
me,
I fucking love
baby,
that song
just-
so much.
Tyler, full disclosure, Tyler joins us when we play, and he sings the Bad Touch, and he crushes it.
Sing is a loose term, but
Yeah.
Are you guys doing prom
I
this year?
try.
Oh yeah, dude.
You're doing
Yeah.
prom?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, nice.
We're
You
gonna do a set of '80s music, and then a set of '90s.
That's
Fuck
gonna be
yeah.
awesome.
Bam, bam, like that.
I want to come up during prom even if I'm bartending, pull my ass from
Yeah,
behind the
dude.
bar.
Oh yeah, it's happening.
No,
Yeah.
I think my answer is David Draymond from I guess that's how you say his last name, from lead singer of Disturbed.
Okay.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to be able to do that?
No, I don't actually. I don't like that part of the song.
Oh really?
That's the only reason anybody listens to that song.
He got
Yeah.
a cough in the studio
Yeah.
when they were recording that, and they were like, "No, that's awesome."
staying.
No. I mean, I think he's an incredibly talented vocalist, and I think I started to respect that a lot more when he started doing the Sound of Silence cover,
Yeah,
which is fucking
Oh,
yeah.
insane. Like,
Arguably the best cover of that song ever.
I saw him.
Yeah.
I saw a video of him defending Taylor Swift.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, man, that's awesome. Because like he's just a music fan.
Yeah.
He wasn't
Mhm.
like you would expect a metal guy to like
Shit on that, yeah.
The
I don't-
pop princess or whatever. Like
I don't understand why people shit on Taylor Swift so hard. Like,
it's popular.
Well,
I
I
mean,
shared
it's-
I shared a meme. We put it on our Facebook page, but it's like it was something about Taylor Swift uses the same chord progression for over 20 songs or something, and then it's
so
like
is everybody since the 1970s.
yeah, it's that meme of that monkey that's like giving side eye, and it says every jazz musician or not jazz blues,
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
blues. Every blues musician.
Yeah. That's just what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that.
Yeah.
True.
All right, what's next?
Let's see here.
Easy killer.
Sorry, getting excited. I like questions.
All right, if you could remove one word from the dictionary, what would it be and why?
Dictionary.
That's gonna be real confusing.
Like, I need to
What
look
is
this up
this?
somewhere, but if only there was a way.
Oh man, I know what avenue I want to go down. I just can't I can't figure out what word.
What are you thinking?
It could be a phrase. I think it could be a phrase.
Okay.
'Cause there's phrases that I hate.
Yeah.
I would remove.
Like I was today years old.
This
or
is
something like that.
Mhm.
yeah, I hate those. And you know what I hate? What's
Oh.
all right? Go ahead.
I got it. This is not a word. This is probably a sentence, but this is the concept I want to remove. Is that
we've done it this way for 30 years, and that's the way we're going to continue to do it.
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
That's fair. But I was going to say, you know what I absolutely despise? When somebody's on like social media looking for recommendations and they'll say, hey, tell me the best restaurant here and go. I absolutely hate that. I'm not going to give you any response when I see that.
So, funny thing, I see that a lot on Facebook too, and there's actually a website called Let Me Google That For You.
I was going to say.
And you can tag them in.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's the passive-aggressive shit I'm into.
I'm going compassion with this one, so I'm going racism. So if I remove the word, does that remove all racism? In my mind, it does. That's where I'm going with it.
It doesn't, but I like your process.
Yeah. No, it still
that's what I'm
exists.
thinking.
You just don't know about it then, so you don't have to feel bad.
We don't call it anything then. We just call it being an asshole.
Yeah.
That's fair. You got one.
What about
Bill?
you? What's your
Mark?
favorite word? No, you keep going, but what's your favorite word after that? Like,
My favorite word.
yeah, your favorite word in one word. Go
Oh
ahead.
man.
But what's your? You had an answer for your other question first. Sorry,
Yeah, I got distracted though.
I'm throwing things at you. Too many. I'm sorry.
You go. Hang on.
Can I give you my favorite word?
Favorite word,
While
yeah,
you guys are
yeah.
thinking, just because it's absolutely fun to say. Indubitably.
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 That's
Just because
good
it's fun to say.
My favorite word in the English language is lunch.
Lunch.
It feels good to say, and lunch is
The
always a
act
good
of
thing. It
lunch
doesn't
is-
matter what day of the week it is. Monday, Saturday, Friday, doesn't matter. Lunch is always good. Love
Yeah.
lunch.
That's fair.
Feels good to say.
I'm gonna get slightly deep here.
All
Say
right,
it
I
with
like
me.
these.
That's what she
Just slightly.
But only slightly.
Just the tip.
That makes everybody happy. Both parties are happy there.
What do you got?
No. So there was a time in my life where maybe I wasn't super happy, maybe slightly, maybe on the edge of depressed,
All right.
right? But I remember being like, I can't wait to eat lunch.
Yeah.
It was like, and I look forward to washing my hair. I was like, I'm gonna wash
You
my
do
hair.
got nice hair. You got some good locks.
Thanks, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm growing it out. My wife's not happy.
Are you? Like
Yeah.
you going like
You should
long,
see his
long?
mustache,
I'm
dude.
gonna try to get it shoulder
Shoulder length? Okay.
I'm gonna try. I
You
don't
should
know.
totally go mullet.
He's
What,
rubbing it in.
uh,
I'm bald, so he's rubbing it in on me. That's what
How
it
long
is.
have you been working on this now?
Oh, I don't
months?
know. No. Probably 5 months, 6 months.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Every
pretty
time
good.
we
I've
start
had
a
it that
gig,
long
he tells
before,
me.
but that was single, and
So why did your wife hate it?
she just thinks it looks messy.
See, and Tiff would be happy if I would let mine go long, but I can't stand it long. I hate it.
Oh,
long.
really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So we married the wrong women, I guess. Let's switch.
Wife swap.
Yeah.
Well, never mind.
Whose wife would be happier with that? All right, let's get real.
Did,
He loves my kids, and he wants to switch wives.
Tyler, did you have a favorite word?
I don't know why this came to my head, but subsequently.
Subsequent.
It's a big word that
Sound
replaces.
fancy.
It sounds fancy.
You
and-
both went with fancy words.
Yeah.
I just
Sure.
like to say indubitably, and I can't say
You
it
can't
well.
even
It's like
say it.
it's like Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I can't say
You
that
can't say
goddamn word.
Massachusetts.
You're a man who likes to
Massachusetts.
challenge himself,
I
right?
guess so. That's what
a
it
good
is,
thing.
yeah,
It's a good
yeah.
thing.
He's a man who's challenged.
All right, next question. What we got?
Let's see here. If you had to be a famous person's assistant, who would you choose?
Bill Murray.
Ooh. Oh, I love Bill Murray.
Hmm.
But that would be such an easy job because he's so down to earth.
Yeah. That's why I want to do it.
I want to do Donald Trump just because it's going to be so fucking terrible the whole time.
Why do you want to do that?
Just because
Yeah.
I like a good, I like to laugh, I guess.
Drama? Do you like drama?
Drama, not really. Actually, I hate drama,
Mm.
but I just think it would be hilarious. It would have to be a short-lived tenure, like a week.
You could write a memoir after a
Yeah,
week.
that's all I
Yeah,
need,
for
just a
sure.
week.
Like, listen what he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be completely asinine.
I don't want to go with my obvious answer because I've said it 9 times on the show before. So I'm trying to.
What
think of
was
somebody-
the obvious? What's the obvious?
Give it to us. and
Probably
then-
Robert Downey Jr.
Oh,
RDJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
because I just like his acting.
That's not all you like about him, apparently. You
got a
talk
man
about
crush?
him. We're on
It's okay.
episode
We can have man
18, and I
crushes.
think he's been on here at least 12 times.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that answer, but I'm going to also expand upon it that I think I would be a very good personal assistant because I think I'm incredibly organized and objective, and I could get some shit done.
And evidently, you're always on the clock. You're
Yes.
always available.
Yes.
So,
That's,
yeah.
which is the key for being a personal assistant.
Exactly.
I think I would command a very high salary, but I think I would do a very good job.
No, what's high?
I like that
Our
confidence.
RDJ calls you tomorrow and says, "Hey, I need you to be my personal assistant. What's your bottom dollar?"
I got to donate half of it to ISIS. So
What's your bottom dollar?
Oh, bottom dollar.
I mean, I'd be RDJ's personal assistant for $100,000 a year.
It was
low,
it was
but
probably somewhere around there. I was going to probably go $150, 200,
That's fair.
250, somewhere in there.
that's fair.
You can afford it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, Mark, what you got?
I'm thinking Tom Cruise. Like,
Yeah.
there's
What?
there's a,
It's the hair. The hair
Hang
is
on.
the
Yeah.
hair.
it's a little bit the hair.
He looks a little bit cruisy.
Yeah, I've got better teeth than he does, so I've got that over him. There's a little bit of fear too, because depending on how long I stay, like would I get sucked into
the cult.
Scientology?
Yeah.
That could be fun.
Just accept
But
it. Just accept it.
I just love like his confidence, and I love like he does his own stunts, that kind of stuff. Who knows? Maybe I'd be like, let me try that. Maybe I'd die. I don't know, but
And you love
YOLO.
the Lord Xenu.
I love what.
The Lord Xenu.
Yeah, I do.
All right,
hate
Bill.
that guy.
Bill, what you got?
Bill
Are you
Murray.
Bill Murray? You
Bill
sticking
Murray.
with Bill?
Yeah,
Okay.
100%. I just think being around that dude, he's so zen. Have you guys seen the documentary about Bill Murray on Finding Bill Murray? I think it's
I don't
called.
think so.
I think it's on Netflix. You should watch it. Like he is
Would you crash weddings with him?
100%.
That would
That'd
be full.
great.
That'd be
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I said full.
I,
That would
I
be
like.
full.
That'd be so full.
So
See,
full.
Bill Murray's a diehard Cubs fan, and as am I. So he was big during that 2016 World Series run. So I
Yeah.
like him for that. But obviously, he's a great
If anybody
actor,
could
but
break the curse, it's Bill Murray.
it was
You know?
100%. He was at
Yeah.
every game.
He was
I
the
mean,
dude that
They
made it
they
happen.
showed him crying at the end of Game 7. I was watching it, so it was great.
Beautiful.
But I like that. I'll
Beautiful.
come be friends with you and Bill.
What you
All right.
got next there?
No, I'm gonna throw one in real quick.
Oh, you got one?
while he's
Okay,
thinking.
please, sorry.
Go
Yeah.
for it. Go for it.
All right. Would you rather
Okay, here we go.
have a rewind button or a pause button for your life?
All right, is it the Zach Morris pause button where you pause everybody
oh, man,
else?
You're so old. Zach Morris pause
Yeah,
button.
dude.
I had never that hadn't come to my brain for 20 years until you just said
Well,
that.
there it is, right there. Is that everybody else's pause but you?
Yeah,
Or-
we'll go with that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. You could just
so you
pause.
like walk
you
around,
could-
pant somebody, and
Yeah.
then unpause it.
Yeah,
and
I like
humiliate
that.
it? Okay.
Or rewind.
All right. So if you rewind, there's no fast forward. So
Just
you're-
rewind. Just rewind. Yeah.
But you can make different choices.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I like it. I like the question. I have my answer, but I just wanted to clarify a few things.
No, you're
before
good.
I
Yep.
answer.
Rewind.
Rewind. Yeah.
I think rewind.
Yeah, rewind.
And I say rewind, not because I have any regrets in my life, but I could fucking kill it with a rewind button.
You could make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, I could.
That's a good point.
If I
Oh,
could
so and so won the
Yeah.
national championship. We're gonna rewind, put $1 million on them, donate
man.
half of it to
You're going
ISIS.
Marty McFly now.
DraftKings, Powerball lottery, I'd be fucking killing it.
Yeah. And you're immortal.
Kinda.
Or you are.
You get to
You
your
rewind.
deathbed and you're like, rewind.
Yeah.
That's fair.
If you could rewind to one day in your life, like what day would it be?
Man.
Like
Hmm.
I think I would go back to when I was like 7 at my grandmother's house when I had zero worries at all. in
She's
She's
my
making you
entire life.
biscuits and gravy for breakfast.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Mhm.
Back before cell phones.
Back before cell phones.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Thanksgiving at my grandma's.
Yeah.
That'd
For
be
sure.
it. Yeah.
Watching football, playing with everybody.
That'd be pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would rewind back to before my father's dad passed away, knowing what I know now, because he was an extremely intelligent man, and I think he died when I was probably 10 or 12 years old. So I feel like I missed out on a lot of his wisdom just because of my age.
That's
and I would
fair.
love to go back and just pick
Spend
his
more
brain
time learning
about
from him.
about what I know now
Yeah.
as a person and talk to him about it. I think that'd be cool.
There'd
Right.
be this is getting deep here, but surprisingly so. But like, there'd be like an inherent sadness from like going
'Cause you
back
know.
then because you know what's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like,
But you've already gone through it.
so you'd be okay with it. But like,
I'd
you
be
wouldn't
okay.
like.
Yeah,
Would
you know
you
it's
rather it be
unavoidable.
like you go back, but you don't know what's gonna happen I mean, I guess you wouldn't rather because you could still win. You couldn't win the lottery.
Yeah. I'd
No,
go
you
back
know
and
you
do-
know what you know now, but you rewind.
Yeah.
What if you rewound, but you stayed the same age?
So like if I go back to like 2010, but I'm
Yeah,
still 36.
you're your age.
Ooh. You could really do a lot of cool shit knowing what you know, but
Yeah.
at the same time, now you're in 2024 and you're essentially double your age kind of a thing.
Yeah. You'd be so woke.
You would be. You could write so many books.
Totally. I'm sorry. I cut you off before you got to answer your question. What day would you go back to?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know if I have a specific day that I would go back to. I have time periods, maybe more than days. Being in college, having fun. That was a good time period.
Yeah.
But honestly, no. I think I'm personally, I would think I'm in my prime right now.
Are you choosing pause then? Is pause over?
I think I'm choosing pause.
Even though you can't win the lottery.
I got to give half a dice, so there's my compassion coming out.
So you already said you would do that. So
But
that's not a problem morally.
We're 3 questions down the road. All right, Mark, what you got?
I was gonna say I got one, but
Oh, you got
Go
one?
for
Okay,
it.
yeah.
this is probably dumb, but we'll go with it.
No such thing as a dumb question.
Okay.
That's what I tell my students.
Would
Just
you
dumb people.
Just dumb people.
Would you rather be able to eat one meal the rest of your life, and it's a 10 out of 10 every single time, or you can eat anything you want, but it's always a 5 out of 10?
I mean, if it's gonna be if it legit tastes like a 10 out of 10 every time, I'm going with that. So like it doesn't lose
you're gonna
its
pick-
it
you're gonna
doesn't
pick-
lose its appeal.
You're gonna pick one meal the rest of your life, and it's gonna be 10 out of 10.
I mean, if you're telling me it's 10, if you're telling me that on down the road it doesn't get boring, so it's always 10 out of 10.
No,
then I
I'm not
gotta
saying
choose
it doesn't-
Breakfast.
I'm not saying-
breakfast is steak. It's a
Steak and
4-course
eggs.
meal of steak tartare.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying it doesn't get boring. I'm just saying the quality is 10 out of 10
Oh,
every
okay,
single
okay,
time.
okay.
Whether or not it gets boring to you is a personal choice.
Gotcha. So the quality is always
That's
like
a
the
good
best.
question.
It is.
That is a very good question.
Because
Because after a while,
I gotta say 5 out of 10 because sometimes you go through periods like Chick-fil-A. I'm gonna eat there, and you eat there like 5 times around.
and you're like,
I
oh,
love
this is
it.
bad.
Yeah, eventually, you're like, I'm tired of this.
I will say I think you could probably skirt the system a little bit by what your choice is. Like if you pick tacos, for instance, like you could probably manipulate tacos in a way where it's still a taco, but
Good
it's
point.
different.
Pasta.
you're gaming the system too much.
You are.
Dude.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
it is
just
the
playing-
same
Okay,
thing.
okay, that's
day.
fine.
It's like your dog food.
Beef
like your dog's food every
tacos.
day. It's the same thing. It's great. But it's the same thing every day.
Yeah.
That's
Huh.
a good
That's
question.
a good question,
I don't
man.
I don't even know the answer to my own question, to be honest. with
Five
you.
out,
I'll-
5 out of 10 is like
It's like-
all right, I ate it. It's fine. It
It's
gave me
variety
sustenance.
versus quality, right?
It
Yeah.
gave me
Yeah.
sustenance. I'm living. I don't know. I love food.
What's a I listened to last episode, and I know there were problems with ranking systems.
Well, they reversed the numbers. Why would you
No,
put a
they're
5
5-star, 1-star. It's a it's a very
There was one problem, and his name was King.
Listen, I think you already put it better than they did. They didn't tell me 5-star versus 1-star. They just said 5 versus 1.
And we said 5 being the best, 1 being the worst. And you refused to listen
but
3 separate
normally
times.
when you rank things, number 1 is your best ranking.
Yes, but we didn't. But we defined it up front, and
I
you
know.
didn't listen. So
And you guys are terrible at ranking things.
So what's a 5 out of 10? What kind of like at best I can eat at? Are we talking like Chili's? Are we talking like
Or is it 5 out of
Are
10
we talking like-
enjoyment?
Burger King?
no, 5
Satisfaction.
out of 10 in regards to the quality of the dish.
Ooh, so
yeah.
quality.
So it's like if you go
So
to
it's-
McDonald's, it's going to be 5 out of 10. If you go make a steak on your grill, it's going to be 5 out of 10.
So if I go to a fancy restaurant, it'll be 5 out of 10 for that restaurant,
Correct.
which would be better than McDonald's.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, but you're always like, meh.
It's more of a personal thing. Like
Okay.
you eat this and you're like, okay, this is 50% of what it could be.
I feel like Mark, and I love you, buddy, but I feel like your opinion of everything is that's about 5 out of 10. Like,
So that's just his regular.
I think you're living this reality right now.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
But actually, with that explanation, I think that might change my answer. Just because, so like when I go to eat, Bill knows, I worry about like how much does it cost versus how much am I gonna enjoy it. So like I don't like going places where I'm gonna spend $20 a plate, $30 a plate, because I'm like I'm not gonna like that
Any more than
Any
a Chick-fil-A
more than-
sandwich.
Well, like Chick-fil-A,
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Chick-fil-A is about $20 a plate.
These
Yeah.
days, yeah.
But like I'd
But this
rather
economy-
spend less money. I know I'm gonna love chicken strips or a chicken sandwich or whatever. Like I know I'm gonna like it, So I'd rather spend less money on it. But if it's a 5 out of 10 for that meal, So if I go and I'm like, I'm going to get chicken strips, but it's a 5 out of 10 chicken strips, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't very good. That wasn't what I was expecting. Then maybe I would rather go with the 10 out of 10.
I think I'm going 10 out of 10 as well.
You're 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
Quality over
Quality.
variety?
I don't know. I was going to go 10 out of 10, and then I listened to Bill's kind of analysis on it. That's like, okay, if you go to a 5-star restaurant and it's 5 out of 10, that's probably still above average for most, regular people.
But how often are you going to 5-star restaurants?
Not
every day?
often, but I'm saying at least I have the option.
Yeah, so what? Once every or twice a year you get a meal that's moderately decent, or every day it's just kind of shit?
I mean, it's variety, though.
It is. It's
Yeah.
variety.
I would get sick of eating the same thing every day,
Yeah.
even if it was like actually, there was a prison in the Northeast, and they fed the prisoners lobster every day because there were these lobsters
Oh.
right there.
There was an
and they fed
abundance,
them
yeah.
lobster every day, and the prisoners
Fucking hated it.
rioted over it. They hated it because they were so sick of lobster every day.
Sons of
Variety's the
bitches.
spice of life, man. I'm going variety. 5 out of 10. Mix it up.
I'm with you. I think
Mix it
on
up.
that. All right, let's do one more question, and then we'll move into the hot takes.
Let's do it. What you got for
Pick
us,
your
Mark?
best.
Oh,
Give us the best one.
well, I might have used the best already. Let's see here. Would you rather be able to speak all human languages or speak to animals?
Ooh, we kind of touched on this last time. We did
did.
have this
We
week, in
did.
it, but
Yeah.
I like the all languages.
I'm going to go all languages.
That would make you.
You can make a lot of money. with that.
You'd be an indispensable aspect to all.
And you don't have 10 minutes pre and post orgasm, so that's a benefit too.
That was the question.
You can
last
still
time,
do
Mark.
it.
It was Bill.
It's a personal
If you
choice.
want, it's personal choice. Do one more real quick. Yeah, do one more real quick.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Are you with us on that one, Bill?
Yeah, I agree. I think
All
we all
languages?
agree. Yeah.
I'll give you a choice. I'll give you a choice. I think I've got 2 left.
Give us 2.
So, first one is if you could immediately gain 1 skill, what would it be and why? Or if you could use only 3 condiments for the rest of your life, what would they be?
Go number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2.
So you're going to use number 2 as a condiment?
Yes. No, we kind of did that last skill one with Bill. So let's go with the condiments. 3 condiments.
Okay.
3 condiments. Okay.
Nacho
Nacho cheese.
Interesting out of the gate. I like it. Yeah.
It goes good on a lot of things. Ranch.
Okay.
Good on a lot of
You're
things.
so white
That's
trash.
for children and women. Yes. But go ahead.
Midwest all the way, baby. And hot sauce.
What kind of hot sauce?
No
What
ketchup, no mayonnaise,
specifically?
no mustard.
Mayonnaise I was teetering on. Ketchup I could go without it. Mustard I like a little bit more, but I think
Yeah.
from a variety standpoint, hot sauce goes good on a lot of things. You
Hot
can
sauce,
change it a
yeah.
lot. Type of hot sauce, I don't like it crazy hot.
You're thinking like a Frank's.
Frank's is good. Cholula's good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
you're just standard basic kind of hot
I'd
sauce.
probably go Cholula just
All right.
because it's got different varieties of flavors.
All right. I'm gonna go ketchup. I like ketchup.
Yeah.
Sure.
It can be used on a lot of different things. And this one's gonna make me sound pretentious as shit, but my mom sent me truffle oil for
Oh.
my birthday this year,
Oh.
Yeah.
and now we air fryer fries a couple times a week, and I just douse them in truffle oil. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's 2 ketchup, truffle oil. I got to go some sort of hot sauce as well because I like spice. So I don't know if I'd go Frank's. I'd probably try to find like a bit more than just kind of heat, a flavorful one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what you got, Bill?
I got to say mayo ketchup right out of the gate.
All right.
Got to have those.
I do
And-
love mayo.
That's solid.
Yeah, mayo ketchup. Mayo's like sandwich lube.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know? you gotta have that.
No one likes a
So,
dry sandwich.
I'm from
What she
again.
said.
I'm from West Tennessee, close to Memphis. I gotta go barbecue sauce.
I was gonna say
BBQ. That's a tough.
barbecue
Yeah.
sauce.
That'd
And
be,
maybe a spicy one. I'd pick like because it could kind of maybe cover both.
sure.
that's not a
you know.
bad way to go because then I get barbecue and spice. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So that's mine. What you got, Mark?
So similar to you.
Worcestershire.
Yeah.
Pickle
No,
juice.
mayonnaise and ketchup
Okay.
because I like them both separate, but I also like to mix them.
All right.
Okay.
But
Thousand Island. You got your
Yeah,
Thousand Island.
that's,
there?
that's
Okay.
solid.
but also sriracha.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we all got some sort of hot in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mhm.
I like that.
Sweet.
All right.
Speaking of hot,
Yeah. That's a great transition into our new, or not our new segment, but our new soundbite for our hot takes.
hot takes.
That's so hot.
I love that.
I love it too.
All right, so hot takes for episode 18. Anybody got one they want to start off with?
I'll start off because I think I might forget it.
All right, send it. Yep.
So it's connected to our topic today, but my hot take is cell phones are not necessary for student safety at school.
All right, I like that. Can you elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, so in my opinion, parents want them to be able to communicate with their kids, right? But in my opinion, the parents are not at the school. They don't have, boots on the ground, so to speak. So like they don't know what's going on. They can't be like, go here, go there, do whatever, right? And really, I feel like in a say emergency situation, really the kids should either follow the lead of the teacher who's there,
yep, or
honestly just make a run for it.
Yep.
Now, granted, that's in like a shooter situation.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel like there's no benefit to any connection to the outside world.
No, because your mom can't suddenly run in there and save you if there is an issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just an emotional support.
Yeah.
But it's not like a
And we've gone years and years and years and years
many
without
years.
it.
Exactly.
It wasn't a problem.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would, and I know I contradict myself by saying this, but I think I agree with you at this point now. That's solid.
This is why we do this podcast.
Mm.
Change
All about
minds.
critical thinking, man.
Change minds.
Yeah.
All right, Bill, you got yours?
Yeah, it's hot. I'm gonna really upset a lot of people.
Do you want to
with this,
save it?
so.
Is it that hot?
No, it's hot. So.
All right, send it.
When done properly, scrambled cheese eggs are better than omelets. I'm not sorry about it. If they are scrambled cheese eggs, mix it all together, better than an omelet.
I would agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you?
Sure.
Okay.
So I get nothing. I get no bacon, no sausage in my.
No, mix all the stuff in you want.
He's talking about. I think he's
I'm
talking
saying
about.
like
fancy
I was
scrambled eggs.
thinking like a cheese omelet and cheese eggs, but yeah, if you want to mix it in, I think that's fine too. I still stand by that.
I eat
It's
a lot
much-
of eggs. I love eggs.
It's much easier to make the fancy scrambled eggs than it is an omelet without fucking
It is.
up.
Yeah.
That's true. I
Yeah.
do mess up an omelet, and then half the time I'm just like, God damn it! And I just start making
Then it's
it into
scrambled eggs anyway.
You're right.
Yeah.
I did Google how to make the Waffle House omelets. You know how they're. Have you ever had an omelet
yeah.
at Waffle House?
Oh, yeah.
They're
Amazing.
super fluffy.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
They use a milkshake mixer and they
They
froth
froth
them up.
Oh, they
the heck
aerate
out of
Yeah,
it.
and you can
Okay.
do that at home. I use the an emulsifier and froth them up, and it works, dude.
Fuck yeah.
Put a little salt in
It's just
there.
air.
It kind of thickens it up, and then hit it with the emulsifier. Follow me for more.
Cooking tips.
Cooking
tips
tips.
with Bill. That's a new podcast coming out next week. All right,
Who's
Tyler,
next,
what you
man?
got?
So my hot take is, I think these tip requests are getting a little ridiculous in
this
today's
is
society.
good as a man who works in the industry. I appreciate that.
So I think a tip. I think it's very important in the right situation. If you're in a position where you are receiving value add above and beyond the product you are purchasing, I think a tip is appropriate. But dude, if I'm going through fucking like McDonald's drive-through or something
Yeah.
like that, or if I'm like picking something up and walking it out the door like as a pickup order, dude, I'm not tipping. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. And this is coming from somebody who's a bartender who, works for tips.
I
So-
have to tack onto that just a little bit, and I could maybe save it for another hot take if
Bring it
there's
on. Go
another
for it.
opportunity.
go
But
for it.
whenever do you want to round up to donate to whatever
Yes.
charity? Because what they do is they take your money and they donate it themselves, and it's a
Tax.
corporate tax write-off.
Yes,
Tax write-off.
Walmart.
So you're giving. It's basically, do you want to give us fewer taxes?
Yeah.
That's what they're asking, but
Yeah.
they don't frame it that way.
But they frame it like,
yeah.
do you want to be a dick and not help the Boys and Girls Club in
Exactly.
your
I
organization?
turn that down
Every
time.
time.
Yep.
Yep.
Me too.
I hate that.
No, I agree. Tips are getting out of control. My barber now, it goes 19, 29, 39% is the only options on the tip board.
Yeah.
When I get my
Get
haircut.
fucked.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Mhm.
Well, I'll just be glad you have hair.
Yours is free.
Mine is free.
That's where you save money, Bill.
Yeah. That's why I went bald, to save money.
I will say also sub hot take. Giving somebody a good tip in justification for being a prick is not acceptable either.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
So you don't think
Yeah.
that, and see, I struggle with this. I feel like I should always give the standard 20%. If you're absolutely terrible, I'll do 15.
I've never not tipped somebody.
Same.
Yeah.
Like if you're just absolutely, so you're saying that if the business was or the service was absolutely terrible, I shouldn't feel obligated to tip?
It would, for me personally, it would take a hell of a lot for me to stiff a server on a tip. Like
Yeah.
they would have to literally piss me off so bad,
Agreed.
like personally.
Yeah,
that-
lowest I'll go is 15, and that's like terrible service. My
Ow.
normal is 25.
Rolling into a restaurant date with 2 kids, like
You're going
they
25,
make a
yeah.
mess.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if they have like really like, I mean, they've wrecked the table, I'll give 25%.
Yeah.
I'll just give like that extra couple bucks.
That's not being a
Just
dick,
to-
though. That's
No,
that's
it's not
like,
being a dick, but it's just
hey,
like, man, you
know,
got to clean all this up.
Yeah.
Like, here's a couple extra dollars to cover.
Just a quick side note before I let Cam roll. I've actually, as a bartender, there's a couple guys that were being fucking pricks, and one of them was a prick. The other guy was okay.
Me and Mark are sorry about
Yeah,
We
right,
apologize.
right. But it's like the guy, the cool guy, dropped the 20 in the tip jar, and to me, I thought it was disrespectful because they were trying to justify poor behavior. I fucking pulled that 20 out of the tip jar and handed it straight back to him.
Did you?
Like you
That
can,
was stupid.
you can.
Now,
I will.
do you think though that it was him like, I'm sorry for my buddy?
That's what
That's-
I thought.
that's kinda
That's
how
the way
I would
took
read
it,
into
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think it was, but the whole dynamic of the situation pissed me off so bad. I'm like, dude, no, I'm not letting you feel good
Justify
about this.
your
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
What
yeah,
was his?
like, pay it off.
What was the behavior like?
So what-
Explain that.
Okay, what happened was he had a big tab, not a big tab, but it was like an $80 tab. Had his credit card on file. He wanted to close out. Hit the button, printed out the credit card receipt. Gave it to him. He gave me $100. I'm like, oh, you want to pay cash? That's cool. So grab the credit card receipt, go back to the register, give him his change or whatever. And he pulls out his phone and he's like, you double charged me. I'm like, no, I didn't. He's like, no, look. And he shows me his phone. It says like $82 pending. I'm like, yes, it's pending because I hit the, forward button, but the actual transaction
Hasn't been completed yet.
it didn't complete, it didn't batch. That's going to drop off.
Yep.
And he started giving me a bunch of attitude. And I started becoming a prick back to him because he was asking for my full name and my manager and all that bullshit. And I don't play those games.
Yeah.
So I was a dick to him. He was a dick to me. He stormed off. And then his buddy was like, no, we're cool. I'm sorry, And I was just so pissed off. He dropped the 20 in the jar. I'm like, dude, no, just take it back. I don't want your money.
Is this a regular?
No.
Never seen him
No,
again?
I never seen him again.
All right. That's good. So yeah, tip your people what they deserve, I guess, is kind of the
And
end
if you're mad at Tyler and he doesn't accept your tip, you can send that to Bill West.
Here's my Venmo.
I will say, at least for me personally, tips, it's not about the money. It is 0% about the money. It's about more of the respect than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. That's why I can't give anything like even terrible service. I feel like obligated because I know you're getting paid so terribly in our country.
That's
a whole nother
That's a
story.
whole topic for
Yeah.
a podcast.
It
right there,
is.
isn't
It is. All right, I'm going to finish this out here. So my hot take is, and again, as if you guys are frequent listeners, most of my hot takes are self-advice for myself. That's not the case in this case. It's probably more for other people. But my hot take this week is take the trip and or buy the thing that you want to buy. We're only here for so long. Like, I get it. You need to spend or save some money for retirement. You need to do certain things. But it's also, you only got so long of being young and able to do these fun things. So spend the money and buy something while being fiscally responsible.
Treat yourself.
That's what it comes down to.
Bill was rolling deep this morning.
He wasn't he? This is great. Yeah.
I was very comfortable on the ride here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, to kind of buy that new vinyl. If you're looking at some sort of new record, go on that quick weekend trip.
Buy that yoga chair if that's what you
buy
really
that
want.
yoga chair. I
He
think
has
about
sex in that chair
yeah.
right behind you.
That's good.
Okay.
We'll try it out later.
I thought you meant the chair I was sitting in. I was like,
No, that one too.
That's challenging.
All these
Oh,
chairs
really?
have been
All,
used.
this,
Yeah.
all these surfaces. You don't want to blacklight it.
Congratulations.
You're
That's-
welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think about this. Actually, I think about Tyler. He's
Whoa.
So
Not the
hey,
sex
whatever
chair.
he gets there, bro.
not the sex chair. Being a cheap ass, because Tyler, you're self-proclaimed pretty cheap ass. You don't like to spend money.
No,
You got the cheap asses on the side over here because
Mhm.
these two right here. Yeah.
I think I used to be. I don't think I'm
You're getting
cheap.
better.
I'm fiscally responsible. I'm at the point in my life now where I pay money for
Yeah,
quality
but I
things.
think about it like I sold you that Jeep a couple of years ago. I had to talk you into that, but I knew how much you wanted it, and you have zero regrets about that.
Zero regrets.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, just buy something fun on occasion. It's
and
okay.
he sold it. It was like a 92, 90?
90.
Yeah.
90 YJ, yeah.
Yeah. And he sold it to you for $45,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
Fair market value.
You're going to like it.
fiscally responsible.
It's okay.
Well, actually, see, what I did is I made him back into something so he felt obligated to buy it.
That is a funny
is that
thing.
a story?
Yeah. So I've driven manual once before, and he gets me in the car, and we're driving, and essentially I back it into a fence, but that really
He didn't know to push the gas while releasing the clutch.
Yeah.
And, it helped sell him, so it was good. And now he has zero regrets. I drove with him last week, felt like I was going to die, just because that thing always feels like a death trap. Nothing to do with his driving. So yeah, buy that fun thing on occasion.
Yeah,
that's my
that
hot
Jeep
take.
to me is like, I love those
Oh, it's beautiful.
That model of Jeep with the square headlights.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they only did
Jurassic
that for about
Park Jeep, man.
Jurassic
It
Park
is.
Jeep, man.
they only did it for about 5-6 years. So yeah, the YJs. That's
Yeah,
what you
dude.
got to look for.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we appreciate y'all listening to this week's podcast. We appreciate Mark and Bill for being on the podcast again. I think this is probably going to be a bit of a theme going forward, so we'll sprinkle in a bunch of other people too. But be safe out there. Cheers, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
Thank you for tuning in to Lagers and Loudmouths. Be sure to never miss an episode by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast streaming service. If you would like to provide feedback or suggest a topic for a future episode, please reach out to us at logersandloudmouths@gmail.com.